because we need to record this for some busy people who can't make it on. Welcome to the call. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started shortly. I'm going to keep an eye on the participants in the room here, waiting and waiting, trying to let everybody in. Hi, Trent. Hi, Abdul. Hey, Chris. Hey, Linda. Nice to see familiar faces. That's great. It's a week of education here at Lead Tribes, I feel like, and that's all good. Education is power, and I love that. And I think the more we know, we must be sponges when it comes to AI here. And so I'm so excited. Hi, Julie. I'm so excited to share with these two knowledgeable, powerful, authoritative people in their own right in the space. Well, yeah, everybody's coming on right now. They're like right on time. That's good. And so, yeah, it's my pleasure to host this webinar in hopes. There's a few things that I would hope that happens today. Continuing to learn about AI and just to understand AI, of course, um, as well as not feeling overwhelmed by it, but making sure that you just understand next steps, what to reach out to. Now you'll have two people to reach out to. There's so many questions around the space and the new, like this new thing came out, that new thing came out. So as people are hopping in, that's great. Thank you for being here. Um, so now I'm trying my view here. Just let me see. Okay. Yeah. There we go. So I just want everybody who's on here live, I would like you all to, if you can, use your chat and put one thing you'd like to learn about AI today. What burning question do you have about AI today? If you can put it in the chat, that will help me because I built this so that we have time to ask and answer your questions. So that would be super helpful. And then we know the chat is working. And we would love to have that. Okay, perfect. So best. Okay, so I'm going to read out those questions a little bit later on. I just have to get the speaker gallery going. So if I'm the speaker, why is it not on me? Or is it on me for you guys? No?
I
Yes.
think
Trent is
everybody
saying
does their
yes.
own. Like I have
Right.
gallery view. Is that
Okay.
what you mean?
Okay. So you could change your own views. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is mine. It's recording. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Well, here we are. Lead Tribe's Power Hour at its best. I'm so proud of these two for jumping into this technology. Vicky is our AI educator. She's had multiple backgrounds of copywriting and things in the technology space, as well as building multiple businesses and just truly wanting to help an entrepreneur get to the next level. And we also have Aries, who has been in the technology field in engineering and since the early 2000s, exiting a few businesses and coming up with new businesses. And there's a website here. We're going to get to all of these things, letting in some more people. Wonderful. Thank you for being here. And so I'd like to kick it off if you can. If we're gonna, yeah, the questions are great. Keep putting the questions there. They may get answered. Each of these authorities get time to tell you what they do for AI and for you as an entrepreneur. So hopefully some of the questions will get answered as we go. We have an open space at the end where we're all going to just chat and have a nice conversation about it. So without further ado here, I'm going to share the screen and let our AI educator, Vicky, take it away. Let me share the tools, share the settings. Okay, so I think I did that. Multiple people, host. Okay, tools. Did that work for you, Vicky?
Neat. I'll send you the request.
Oh, yep, there, I allowed you. Excellent.
Beautiful. All right.
Okay. Yeah, take it away.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So just I'll preface right now for those that are curious, I built my presentation on Gamma. It is an AI presentation software and it's fantabulous and it has saved me so many headaches, not to mention time, but just the sheer joy of now creating presentations is something that I can say I actually enjoy creating presentations now. All right, get my situation set. Okay, welcome to the AI Authority Power Hour, where I want to share with you 6 guidelines that I believe will set you up for success with AI in 2026. These have been the most fundamental game-changing types of strategies that I put into place in 2025 that have allowed me to access flow. So much so that I've named my company Flow State. I feel like the single most important objective in using AI is how can you use it to access flow, and access flow in such a way that you can achieve quantum level productivity without disrupting your nervous system and actually staying in alignment with what you believe in. So my question, rhetorical. Oh, I have to start my timer. I did time myself yesterday and it was exactly 20 minutes. Have you ever felt flow? Rhetorical. Do you know what that feels like in your body? So I just want you to take a second and see, feel. Have you ever been able to achieve flow in your work? My hope is that the answer is yes. Especially my hope is that you've achieved it with AI. But I want you to kind of anchor that feeling for a second. And then I want you to think about what became possible when you were in flow. Like, how did your entire being, how did your existence sort of change? How did your relationship to whatever you were doing change, or your just relationship to your surroundings? So I want you to think about that question as I go through this presentation, because it's the foundation for everything that I believe in when using AI. Now, we all know this. There is no rule book for AI. There's a lot of people online that are trying to sell you courses on how to use AI, and they're all following their own very specific philosophy, because there is no sort of standard practices necessarily. It's going to be completely unique to every single person based on what you do for work, what feels good for you, what kind of knowledge you have around how to use these tools. But ultimately, what I want you to take away again from today is that everything, for the most part, that we know to be true is a human construct. That can be time, that can be the relationships that we have, especially with our relationship to work, to our work, to our workload, to our responsibilities to other people. These are all, we've created these constructs in our head. And so it's important that as we start to use AI more and we start to use it to get into flow, we use it to increase our life satisfaction, those constructs are going to change. And we need to be open to that, because what we know to be true right now will not be what we know to be true at the end of the year. One of the questions in the chat was, how can AI best serve you? How can we use it in the most appropriate, the best, the most successful, useful way? So this is my standard workflow in using AI. And I do this, I'd say 85% of the time that I use AI, and I use AI all the time, every single day. I voice to text everything. I do stream of consciousness. So the idea is, as you talk faster, obviously, than you type, but the ideas that come through allow you to access something that is known as stream of consciousness. Have you ever sent a voice note or talked about something out loud with a friend or a loved one, and at maybe minute 3 or 4, your ideas start to take shape, and all of a sudden you get these downloads of really important information that you absolutely never would have had if you had just thought the thoughts in your head, or if maybe you had restricted yourself to typing? That is only accessible when you do voice to text. And AI is becoming, with every new iteration, it's becoming more and more capable at helping you reason through your thoughts. Now, the word reason here is very important, and I'll get to that in a sec. Well, okay, next one, reason through your ideas. You are using AI to help you think through maybe sort of half-formed thoughts and turn them into full-fledged ideas. And those ideas can now be repurposed using AI throughout every aspect of your business. I believe I have okay, so before we get to that, when I say every aspect of your business, I mean content, I mean strategy, I mean offers, I mean boundaries, every single aspect. There's going to be areas where you can take these fully fledged ideas that you have and put them throughout your business. Okay, so reason. I want to specify that when we talk about AI, we're often talking about reasoning models. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, these are called reasoning models because they are specifically designed to help you reason through your ideas. So naturally, the acronym that I was so very grateful that Claude helped me come up with is REASON. And these are my 6 guidelines to your success with AI in 2026. I'll go through them briefly here, and then I have a slide for each one. So AI is no longer a task-based solution. It is not something that you open up when you have a question or you want to like quickly search something. AI now needs to be baked in to your work, to your operations, to your content strategy, to literally every strategy of your business as infrastructure. Number two, as I was saying before with human constructs, one of the biggest human constructs that's going to be disrupted from AI is time and our understanding of what's possible given a certain amount of time. The third one, naturally, I have to include this. If you aim for flow state as like a quote unquote KPI, if you start to measure how long and how fast it takes you to get into flow state, naturally other productivity metrics will follow. So this is, to me, this is the one. If you're going to aim for one thing with AI, aim for flow state. S, AI needs to challenge you. If you want to get the best of AI and you want to get the best of yourself in using AI, absolutely have it challenge your perspective. And we'll go into some ways that you could do that. Oh, we are not masters of AI. We are all students of AI, and we will continue to be students of AI for quite a while. However, with that being said, the more time you spend as a student, the more time you can spend as a blank. And when we get to O, I'll share what that is. But this idea is always keep an open mind when using AI, that you will learn something in every single interaction about AI, but also about yourself. And N, nullify repetitive tasks. So this is where I'm going to pass it off to Aries, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about more AI agent automation and stuff. However, there are certain types of automation, very basic, sort of basic level automations that you can do on your own using reasoning models. And so it's important to start thinking like that. All right. R, rethink AI as infrastructure. When you consciously embed AI into every aspect of your work, what this means is you are working backwards from your goal. So you wake up in the morning, you think about what you need to do for that day, you think about your objectives or your weekly, monthly, quarterly objectives, and then you work backwards and you start thinking, how can I embed AI into every aspect of that objective, whether it's on a daily basis or it's on a quarterly basis. You want to bake AI into the fabric of your business operations. AI is no longer Google. AI is no longer just ChatGPT. You need to start thinking bigger, and you need to start thinking as AI as foundational infrastructure. Okay, this is not our first time experiencing the shrinking of time. This is not our first experience of time shrinkages. We have walking, biking, cars, trains, boats, planes. They all sort of collapsed time and space, and they made it easier for us to travel in significantly less time. So I want you to remember that analogy when you start to see time collapse before your eyes with AI. It's just never happened to us on this level. Also, we were born with airplanes, they existed. So we are now going through a disruption of a construct that we have become so accustomed to that it's going to disorient us. So just if you can start thinking now, okay, that task currently takes me 3 hours. What if it took me 30 minutes? What would that look like? Then you'll be prepared for when the AI rollouts and the upgrades come that actually allow you to achieve that task in 30 minutes. Our time shrinkages will continue in 2026. And as that happens, expand your concept of time and what's possible in a given amount of time. And remember that it's a human construct. We made it up. Therefore, we can change it. My favorite, flow state. I've been accessing flow with AI for about 1.5 years, and I wish I could remember the exact moment that I achieved it for the first time, because it was life-changing. And at the time I was working at an AI training institute, and the founder of the training institute, I came onto a call with him one day. I was like, I think I've really understood and mastered what AI can deliver. And it's that feeling of ease and momentum and exhilaration and a true joy for your work that you had never had before. And this presentation is a perfect example. I used to hate making presentations, and now I truly enjoy making them because I can own what I'm good at, which is the words and, hopefully the actual delivery of the presentation. It's not the creating of the slides. And so I aim for flow in every single aspect. Now I'm like, where do I experience friction, and how can I alleviate that friction with some form of AI? I truly believe that when you master flow, everything else will fall. Let every other KPI fall off for now, and then start to measure them once you're in flow state, because productivity, optimization, getting more work done faster, better outputs, all that stuff comes when you're in a state of flow, because you naturally enjoy what you're doing more and you are vibrating at a higher frequency than you ever would if you're kind of working in friction. Aim for flow, everything else will follow. AI, you probably know this, it's like pretty mainstream now, it's common knowledge that AI is baked into the training model is that it's going to please you. It wants to keep you on the platform like any algorithm. And so it wants to reiterate to you what you're saying and say, yes, you're so right. Yes, that's a great idea. Have you ever had ChatGPT just go off on this crazy thread on your idea? And you're like, wait, is that even a good idea? Like, why did chat not push back on me before mapping out like 12 steps to this project? Like, I don't even have the bandwidth for this. What the heck? This is not possible. You need to have AI push back on your ideas. So when you're at the step one of the stream of consciousness and you're voice to texting your ideas, ask, what am I missing? What am I not seeing in this entire picture? What am I assuming? What are my assumptions that are possibly setting me up for failure? My favorite is give me a non-obvious solution, so much so that I've baked it. I've actually written that into my custom instructions. I want a non-obvious solution every single time I ask chat to help me reason through my ideas. Show me a different perspective. These are valuable prompts, because AI by nature is all it does is pattern recognition and absorb copious amounts of data. It recognizes patterns. So if you ask it to show you a different perspective, give you a non-obvious solution, what are you consequentially assuming? It can give you answers that you never would have thought before, because we are human and we are narrow-minded. And so here AI is being able to think outside of the box consistently, but you have to prompt it for this. We are students of AI right now. I'm currently reading a book that's talking about how we are actually parents of AI and we're parenting our artificial children. That's sort of a separate philosophy, but it's in the same vein, in that we are learning how to interact with AI. And as we learn about what AI is capable of, we're learning about ourselves. And I have an Instagram post on that, which I think is really powerful, because the ability to do self-inquiry and critical self-inquiry with AI is huge. But we need to understand that we are still a student. So every time you open AI, not OpenAI, if every time you open an AI, whether it's ChatGPT or another one, and you get frustrated, just know that you're learning. You're learning something about the limitations of the platform or the limitations of yourself. And the more time you spend as a student, the more opportunities you'll have to become the orchestrator of your own AI ecosystem. And this is going to be critical for your success with AI in 2026. Yes, we need to be students, but you need to start being able to figure out which AIs to use when, how to interact with the one in the way that works best for it and for you, and do this with confidence. So get a lot of your questions answered out of the way, like the ones that were in the Zoom chat, because once you have clear answers and once you've practiced a lot, this stuff will become second nature. And the last one. So this one was very confusing for me when I first started hearing about how to automate with AI, because I'm like, but AI is still manual. Yes, it gives me outputs, but I still have to do things. And so I'm not talking here about some of the types of automation that you may have heard about, which is what Aries is going to talk about. That's more complex. I'm talking about something simple like, and I'm going to give you the example of how I've automated my most tedious task, but has completely changed my interactions with Lead Tribe members, with prospective clients, and with current clients, and doing follow-up. So one of my most repetitive tasks, and I believe it would be one for anyone who does client work and does a lot of lead generation and discovery calls, is follow-up. What do you say in your follow-up? So up until now, it would have, or up until about a year ago, it would have been a quick follow-up, like, really nice to have this call with you. And I would try to like remember some of the things that we talked about and recap it, and off it would go. And now I transcribe every single call. That call transcript gets uploaded. And then I have a conversation. I say the things that I remembered were really important, the things that matter to me the most. the things that I would like to highlight in the email. And then I ask AI to take this transcript and summarize what it feels like are the most valuable points, and then craft a really solid follow-up email that covers everything. So that person knows that I took the time to review our call details, and I really want to make sure that I understood what I heard correctly. And this has just completely transformed the relationships that I have with anybody in my business. And then in so doing, I have found ways, I've obviously tested it, I've done this dozens of times, but I've refined that process. Like, what do I actually want to say to the AI once I upload that transcript? And then I've improved it in certain ways and tweaked it so that this process right now for me is pretty seamless and it doesn't take much thought or effort at all. So that's an idea of an automation that you could put into place just using a standard reasoning model. Of all of that, other than using AI to achieve flow, making that your only success metric, the other one is start seeing yourself as an orchestrator. And if you guys like see some of these images in the back, these were AI generated. These are just put in by Gamma, but I actually really love this image. They don't always work out, but this one I think is great because I want you to be an orchestrator, and in the what's it called? In the galley or in the area where you have the musicians, those are your AIs. It's not just going to be one. It's not just going to be ChatGPT, and it might feel really scary. And as it did for me, the very first time that someone introduced another AI to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to learn. Like, I don't want to learn anything else. I just want to learn what I have to learn. And I want to ignore all the other stuff that's coming out because there's always going to be an onslaught of softwares and tools. And we're only human. Like, we can only absorb so much. And so when I moved from ChatGPT to Claude, and then from Claude to Gemini, and then from Gemini to Perplexity, and as I started to move around, I started to understand, okay, there is value in getting to know different things about different platforms. And so I invite you to also expand your learning container beyond ChatGPT when it feels right. And just know that when you come up against a limitation in ChatGPT, there are other solutions out there. I would like to also invite you all. So we all have a AI slop. ChatGPT for writing has really poo-pooed the bed. It's horrible most of the time right now. If any of you have noticed, like Linda mentioned, I was a copywriter for 4 years, so I'm very attuned to words. I get so frustrated when it's an obvious glare to me that it was just written by chat, and not even any AI. I know it's written by ChatGPT. So my invitation is to rely less on ChatGPT for writing and use it more for the reasoning that I was talking about, the voice to text stream of consciousness, and then repurpose that content because it's your voice. You spoke it into existence. And so relying more on your own words and your own ideas to generate content as opposed to the actual AI generating that from a very basic prompt. Recap, reason your way to AI success in 2026. And just a quick little thing to show you, please follow me on Instagram. I am doing a lot of effort to post content on there that I feel like would be really valuable. I just set up my ManyChat automation and also on LinkedIn. So I'm posting on both of those platforms as much as I can about AI education. And just to give you a quick example of how image editing can help professionals, if you have a profile photo that you really like, but maybe there's something about it that you don't really like, you can tweak it in Google Nano Banana, Gemini Nano Banana, because this used to be my original image. I thought maybe that was a little unprofessional if I'm wearing a tank top. And so with a couple prompts, and it took me about 4 or 5 iterations, I was able to just put a jacket on myself. So those things are available to you as well. That's it for me.
Awesome. Okay, let's give a reaction there. I think that was some pretty valuable information. We got to hit the button, show her some love. Yeah, congratulations. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly do a few questions before we go right to Aries. I also was taking notes. I hope you're taking notes as well. But one of the things that Vicky and a lot of people, depending who you listen to, will tell you is that time shrink. Okay, so for example, yesterday, this is me. I got 12 leads from my AI system, and then I copy, cut, and pasted those leads to my executive assistant who sent out an email to those leads. And that took 2 minutes. That would have taken me the copy, cut, and paste, doing each one individually, making sure I got everything right. That's how I am. That would have taken at least 20 minutes, and it was done in two. So I was like, oh my gosh, like every 2 minutes I could reach out to 12 people this way. So there was that. And then the kind of the collapse of the boardroom. What Vicky is suggesting is that if you can voice to text, as I do now, as a new habit embedded in my work lifestyle, is I will walk the dog or be waiting at the bank or whatever it is, and I'll be like, "Hey, chat, I was thinking, blah 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 blah," and it can keep your information. It can keep the chat that you're having saved. So I taught Vicky something. I know, crazy, right? I told her that I had created an asset and I told it to move it to a project folder. And and so it can just do that. I said, please make me a one pager of these 50 questions and then create a project called XYZ and move this asset to that folder. And it did it. And so we're all learning, like she said, and that's why you're coming in at the greatest time. If you've started, great. If you haven't, it's okay. And just get started is the main thing. We have a couple questions here. What's the best AI platform? Is it really GPT? So I think after knowing Vicky and Aries enough, like Chat GPT is a basic go-to. Yes, 100%. Images and other things like that won't be exactly what you want. And then now I've got Julie asking, what's the best AI platform for user friendly? I don't know if either one of you want to chime in on that quickly.
They're all user friendly.
They're all
Like all
user
the standard
friendly.
models, they all have pretty much the same interfaces. Even like if you know how
Okay.
to use one, you'll work. They're all the same. They all have the
True
same
enough.
features.
Okay, true enough. The best, most efficient, let me just see here. Best, most efficient. Oh, I lost that question now. So sorry, 1 second. I moved it. That's why. Okay. Oh, and Trent is asking, no, Abdul is asking, how do we introduce AI to our kids? I'm saving that one for Aries because he has a daughter, and I'm going to get Aries to answer that question, especially without a phone. That's a good one. And then where did Trent's message go? It was quite,
Mitigate AI's impact on
yes,
cognitive functions while integrating it into your business. Voice to
voice to
text your
text.
ideas and have AI like using it as a reasoning model, like
Yeah,
literally using it for what it was meant for, to
yeah.
me can greatly expand your cognitive abilities.
Yes, and the decision making just becomes lightning speed. Like Vicky said, it doesn't actually know how to not cheer you on for your business, so you actually have to tell it your mission. I think that would be really good, and it's an exercise we could do for you. But let's not get in over our heads today. Yes, Vicky.
Can I just say real quick to Julie, if you actually want to use AI for reasoning, though, use Claude, don't use ChatGPT. As far as a reasoning buddy, somebody that actually presses you back and you don't have to constantly be prompting it to challenge you, a Claude is like light years ahead of ChatGPT, in my opinion.
Yes, and you're getting some AI is no longer Google 100%, so that's awesome. Thank you. And you're getting thank you, thumbs up. Okay, so let's shift gears here. We've got Aries on the line, and Aries, are you able to share your screen? I've set that up so that you can. I hope so. So then we're gonna let Aries do that, and this is a whole other level. But again, it could be right around the corner. And really, what I love that Aries helps you with right away in the discovery is where is the friction? And Vicky talked about that. So when you answer his little three questions, actually, it's only three questions, you can figure out if Aries might be able to help you with this AI advantage. So let's welcome Aries to the call. Yay! Thank you for being here, and take it away.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. Can everyone see my screen share, my presentation? Okay, perfect. So Vicky just walked everyone through how AI fits in our day to day. Let me reposition that, and on the next few minutes, let's try to close our eyes and imagine one very important item. Let's zoom out. Because the real advantage here with AI going to this year isn't about the tools. It's not about how founders think about leverage. It's about founders, how they think about leverage. Listen to that word, leverage, and that will reverberate on each of the slides as I walk through. I only have 5 slides, and this will take maybe about 7 minutes. But there's a strategic shift. Most entrepreneurs approach AI the same way they approach software. It's a tool, something that helps them work a little bit faster, maybe a little bit cheaper, something that assists. AI first founders think very, very differently. They don't see AI as productivity, they see it as leverage. They see it as a system that executes work. And that mindset shift is what separates businesses that stay busy from businesses that actually scale. So that's going to be the major difference between a business that doesn't scale versus a business that scales. They think AI as leverage, not a tool. This is where AI agents come in. AI agents are definitely not chatbots. They are not assistants waiting for prompts. AI agents are digital team members. So let's say modern teams now, let's say there's 10 people, and that's happening now. They execute workflows. AI agents handle follow-ups, like what Linda mentioned, right? Follow-ups. They manage processes. They work 24/7 without context switching, burnout, or memory gap. That's the difference between using AI and building leverage with AI. Again, the key leverage. The biggest tax growth isn't a lack of ideas or effort. It's repetition. We do it all over again, over and over again. We have manual follow-ups, relying on people to remember things, making the same decisions over and over and over again. Repetition. When humans are used as systems, growth slows down. And that's true. Not because people are incapable, but because humans were never designed to scale like software. We'll go to the next slide here, and you'll see here a pyramid. If you remember nothing else from my presentation today, remember this one rule. If a task repeats over and over again, it should not depend on a human. Repetition is not a people problem. It's a systems problem. And the founders who understand that early are the ones who will win in 2026. So the founders who understand that it's a system problem, they are the ones who win this year. Thank you. That's my short presentation for today. And would like to invite you that for this year, um, it's in my slide. This year will reward the business people who design the systems early. It's about leverage. It's about systems. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Okay, great, great, great. Yeah, excellent. You're getting some great comments there. Let's show the love. You've got your chat button. Use it, use it, use it. This is brilliant minds that can help us evolve and amplify the greatness and the creativity that we have. You can see the reasoning steps that Vicky laid out for us, and then next level steps with Aries. What you're going to get after this call today is you're going to get a recording of this call, and you're going to get links to both of them as well. I also will include a tool that I have just found and implemented. I'm going to put that in there. It has changed the way I do business. And I would going to open it up now for questions. So Aries, if you can stop the presentation there. And
I
then
also
we'll
have a
just
question that I
chit
would like to
chat.
pose. Can I
Okay.
pose it to the audience and we can weave it in at some point? I'd like to know who's currently not voice to texting, like different, like who's texting, who's voice to texting. I don't know how we want to do that, but
Right. So raise
whichever
your
hand,
hand on use your raise your hand reaction here. Raise your hand if you are voice texting.
voice to
Voice
text.
texting, voice to
Okay,
text. It's a game changer.
curious.
Voice to text is the way to go.
Only a few.
Anytime you think of something, boom. It's like I'm talking to my boardroom, you know, advisory board. I just say blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. So we're getting there, but you need to get into that mode in order to get that creativity going. And then, like Trent is asking, like implementing it into your business. That's the best way to do that. Awesome. Who else has a question? And we've got time for questions. Let's see. Oh, everyone's got to lower their hand first, right? Okay. Um, So, yes, I mean, how do we introduce? Okay, well, we'll go here. How do we introduce AI to our kids? Aries, did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a 11-year-old daughter, and my approach is not really traditional. In schools, normally they say, do not use your devices, do not go to screens. That's not what I preach. On my end, um, when we can leverage, I see an AI as a companion. So again, it's leverage. So they use apps. I teach my daughter, certain apps very often on how to leverage and using it because her competition in the future, or maybe even now, are people who understand these apps. And that's going to be her leverage. So the way I view it is there are websites now, there are apps that are really child friendly, and you can be the one that moderates it. But teaching them, I think, early and them understanding the limitations of it and them understanding that they can leverage it and they can accelerate, I think that's going to be the goal. And I've been doing that maybe since ChatGPT started in November of 2022, during that time. But really before that, in terms of technology, like I've been teaching my daughter how to code since she was 2 years old, right? So now her level of coding skills surpasses even the teenagers and early adults. And that one comes a little bit naturally for her. And honestly, we don't have a television at home. Um, we don't have a television at home. I would invest time in conversations with my family rather than watching television. So, or educating. And that's an active choice. And that's my experience. And how I teach AI to my daughter, in summary, it's a leverage. And she studies one AI tool maybe every few days, and we just take that forward.
That's awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, Abdul's giving you the thumbs up. That's great. I want to put this out there. So, the very first thing I did when I got good at voice texting, because we all have this great ideas that we've had for so long, and then we don't know how to get it out. So, I started my book. I started a book. And I started telling chat that I'm going to create a project. And so each time I'm chatting away, I will reference the book project and I will reference, and it's going to organize the chapters for me. It's going to do all these great things. There is something in you right now that I know AI can help amplify. And I want you to tell us what that is in the chat. Like, what is it? Is it a class? Is it another, avenue for your business? I know that AI can help with already the repetitive things that we are talking about that Aries showed us that if it is on repeat, it doesn't need to have a human. So let's get the right tools in place for you to I mean, propel yourself in 2026. That's what this can allow you to do. So, again, I've got let's see, we got a couple new questions here. Oh, Vicky has put some good stuff in there about whisper flow. Is that what it's called? Whisper. Okay,
Yes.
awesome. So again, we're always sharing tools. Go check it out. I'm going to share one in my email back to everyone. So helping with a book outline, chapters, yeah. And so imagine you can start to organize that and become an author. So there's so many things that you can do. But again, an author is residual income. So if we're thinking about like how can I build another income stream? A book is one of them. So who else has a question? So Amanda's just saying, yeah, book outline, chapters, perfect.
Can I touch on, you just mentioned something important, Linda, like this idea of creating a book outline. Now that kind of touches on organization inside of AI because it is limited with how you can organize stuff and you kind of have to learn. And so this is where each platform can be a little bit different. But the organization of your ideas and thoughts on any AI in any AI reasoning model can become a little bit overwhelming and cumbersome. So it's worth taking a bit of time to think through how you want to organize your ideas, because the more you start to use it, the more value you see in this voice to text stream of consciousness, the more you're going to share, the more you're going to get lost in your chats. And so it's really important. And I speak for myself that I'm not a very organized person when it comes to, all the admin stuff. And so my AI interface is the same. Try to come up with naming conventions. I now have a naming convention. So I know exactly at least what each chat, like if it was a client, if it was a project, if you are going to use projects, how are you going to use projects? Think that through because it can just become a little bit tedious to find things. That shouldn't dissuade you though from using it. You just need to find a system that works for you.
Exactly. Awesome. What's your, let's give away a secret here. What's your best tool? I see Vicky's already put kind of, I think, the one you thinking right now. Aries, what's one you could recommend to everybody?
You know what? Out of all the LLMs, one thing maybe I think someone asked a question on that, right? They all have their superpower, but the interface is the same. But they all have superpower. Recently, I've been using Claude a lot because of the writing is really excellent. And you can leverage that Claude. Claude is excellent. Like if you use it, try it, especially in writing, right? So yeah.
Okay. Another one that I'm gonna go back already, like this is feels like way back playback, but the first time that Vicky and I did an online kind of tool-based group chat was with the Ikigai. So this is a chat GPT called the Ikigai. We have that for you. The reason why I say way back because it's only a couple months ago, but if you start there, if you start with the Ikigai, what it does is it leads you through some questions. Okay, you just have to answer the questions. It could take you 10 minutes and it could take you an hour, depending on how deep you want to look within your mission in life, your impact that you're facilitating through your business for the world to see. So if you start with the Ikigai, here's why I'm prefacing this now. If you're not so far deep into AI, you have time to do this, please do it. Vicky, maybe you can throw the chat in the Ikigai in there for you. Okay. And then what I do now is I took the mission statement. It's going to bubble down all of the things that you said, and it's going to create this wonderful, hopefully almost tear-jerking moment of you and your business where you realize the gift that you have to give the world and how this mission statement is what you put into your chat, into your Claude, into your Gemini. And as you talk to it, as your boardroom officers, advisory board directory people, whatever, you have this conversation. Every conversation needs to be in line with the mission. Okay, this is like the goosebump moment is like, oh my gosh, if I can program my chat GPT to always think that the only thing I need to do is create this mission to make it come alive and focus all of my ideas and even give me steps on how to get there, the mission is the very key first thing you could do for yourself. If you're like, meh, I know my mission, I'm just going to write it in there, fine, you can do that. But let me tell you, even my husband, yes, a guy, said it was moving to go through the exercise and actually connect with his mission on such a level that you just don't think about anymore now that you're fully in business, right? As a business owner. So the Ikigai is one thing that it's got your life purpose, which is obviously facilitated through your business. I think it's a great, beautiful step. And then we've got some more removing your limiting beliefs exercise, great branding
Can I
message
share?
exercise. Yeah.
Can I share? Okay,
Yes.
these are the three that I've put there that are the most valuable and impactful for anybody who wants to truly leverage, it's a good word, the capabilities of AI, but leverage your own intelligence and the ability for AI to reflect back to you what you're saying. So again, AI is best at pattern recognition. The beautiful thing with the Ikigai and why this one is so impactful is because all you have to do is share. All you have to do is answer the questions. And then
Yeah.
there's 4 buckets that you can place yourself in. There's like skills, expertise, passion, and money. Like, how do you make money? And then you let the AI do what it does best, which is recognize the patterns amongst these 4 things that you've shared about yourself. And so it's bringing to light connections, and it's connecting the dots in ways that you never would have thought of before. And it's the same with the brand messaging. You answer steps 1 and steps 2 with a lot of detail using stream of consciousness, voice to text, and then it helps you flesh out steps 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you do a lot of the heavy lifting and the thinking up front, and then you let AI connect the dots for you as you go. It's really magical, and it is very emotional.
It is. And so Julie's asking, can you spell that? Julie, it's in the chat. She actually put the link to the Ikigai. I know it sounds funny and it is,
The Japanese word.
the Japanese one, yeah. But it really is the basis for the beginning. If that's where you are, that's awesome.
Even
Um,
if you're not at the beginning, like
yeah,
everybody should
totally.
be able to use AI for critical self inquiry and for
Yeah.
deep work like this. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Awesome.
very passionate about this.
So I will just share very quickly. I got a tool that was 6 AI employees all together. I've implemented and onboarded all of them. I'm going to put that in my recap with the email. Okay. So you're going to get information to Vicky and to Aries, and then I'm going to give you my little secret AI team that I use now. And it's been game changing, life changing. I've saved 56 hours since I implemented it, and I've only been using it for about 2 weeks of time.
Linda, do you
So
want to talk about the lead gen aspect of
it's
that? Because
kind of
that's
crazy.
really
Yeah.
relevant.
It,
Yeah.
it, it is there is a lead gen component to it that can do lead gen from LinkedIn if that's what you are all about and that's where your ideal clients are. Great. This might be for you. Again, just another tool to explore. But I do want to touch on Vicky. Can you talk about your 5-day AI
Mm.
challenge at the end of the month?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So this idea was born because Linda is a big fan of challenges. And I thought, you know what? It is a good idea and I should do this. And it's forcing me to actually think through workflows that are relevant for every single entrepreneur. Because up until this point, it's been one-on-one, it's been custom work that I've done, very specific to the needs of that exact person, where they're at in their AI journey. So now I'm doing the one-to-many. So it's like really affordable, and the idea is that every single day you learn the best of each AI. So I'm going to share with you one of my favorite and most impactful workflows for each one of these 5 AI. So like Gamma, this one that I shared with you today, you're going to learn how to use voice to text stream of consciousness using ChatGPT and then turn that into a presentation that you could then use for a free webinar. And so these are skills that have greatly saved me a lot of time and allowed me to access flow that I want to share with you over the course of 5 days, 10:30 to noon. No, 10:30 to 11, 10:30 to noon. Yeah, it's 10:30 to noon. Sorry. It's an hour and a half, but the first 45 minutes is going to be a presentation and demo. And then the next 45 minutes is going to be practice, is going to be the actual challenge portion where you put it into practice.
Amazing. And then on February 3rd, there's another webinar that you do for everybody just to
Yeah, so
educate,
that
which
one's
is,
free. Yeah, so that is
yeah,
the idea of
it's
how do you
amazing.
move seamlessly from one AI to another, and when should you shift, and how do you actually use AI to get into flow in a way that feels easy and feels rewarding and doesn't feel overwhelming and scary.
Awesome. Thank you. And Aries, you just nailed it here by saying you want to make AI agents. So then you put a favorite website there. So let's just ask, like, can anybody just go make an agent?
Yes, definitely. Anyone can make it. Yeah. You know what? You don't need to be technical. Like I can have my daughter make one.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, it's not technical. This is maybe the most non-technical website that will help you. You just need to spend a little bit time and have an open mind. That's really all you need to do.
Wow,
So
crazy.
Lindy.ai
Yeah.
um, is a great website.
Okay.
I use that a lot
Amazing.
for personal stuff. Like, I want to build something. I'll spend maybe 15 minutes building one, and you
Yeah.
can use Lindy.ai. Yeah,
Amazing.
there's a
All
few
right.
more, but some of them are a little bit intimidating. But this is the least intimidating, I think, that I
Yeah.
use.
And,
I
and
encourage this kids. Kids can use this. Like they can build
amazing.
their own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so crazy, so good. So, I have one big question for both of you. I can't wait to see how you will answer this. So, I know Vicky kind of alluded to it. So, I just heard that everything in AI can be duplicated in 3.3 months. So, everything in AI that's learning, it can think already, in duplication in 3.3 months. So, what does that mean for everybody here? If it's learning that fast, that's a bit of a crazy train to me. So, but what does that mean for everybody?
I
That
don't know what
means
that
you
means
can
for
make better.
everybody, but okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
Aries. You have an
Sorry.
answer?
Go guys, Vicky. Go ahead. I'll let you
So
go.
yeah,
First, I
like
just
if it can duplicate its input and data and structure and learning and all these things every
Mhm.
3.3 months, how do we ever keep up with this? I'm
Okay.
curious.
I think that's the wrong approach. It's the
Okay,
keeping up because we don't have to keep up with any, there's nothing to keep up with. And Aries
true.
just mentioned something really important, which is you just have to have an open mind. And so the biggest roadblock to leveraging AI is creativity. It's not tech. Aries just said that platform, if you go on, you can create an AI agent. You just have to think about what you want. It's
Hmm.
forcing you to think about your systems and the way you operate. It's forcing you to look inward and understand yourself better and how you operate. And so this is the real learning that I want everyone to take away. It's not about learning the tech, it's about learning the limitations of your own creativity. So if we're time is a human construct, learning is a human, like this is all a learning construct. So if things are shrinking and now AI's ability to do what it does now is doubled in 3 months, this idea of exponential also in quantum all of a sudden becomes possible. And so if you're into longevity at all, there's people that firmly believe that in X amount of years, we're going to be living to 150 or 200, and that exponential things are possible. It's just hard for us to comprehend. So we just have to have an open mind on what that means and not jump to conclusions or assumptions that because things are speeding up at 3 times, 3x, that we also have to speed up at 3x. We do not. We are human and we operate at the speed of human. And so always remember that your nervous system is a priority to whatever your AI education looks like.
Nice. Well said. Okay, thank you. I also know that what you can be done in 10 years can now be done in a year. And so the next 5 years, and I want all of our attendees to get excited about this, in the next 5 years, the world is going to produce the most amount of millionaires we've ever seen. And I find that very exciting. Actually, that gets me revved up. And so I want to be at the forefront of that. So I think that's where my mind says, well, I'm going to keep up. I want to be a part of this. And I actually also want our tribe to be part of the next 5 years and Millionaires Club. So, any thoughts on that with you guys?
Very hopeful. Yeah, that's hopeful because what I've heard is that AI is going to make more billionaires
Okay.
because of these tech companies. And so wealth could actually, unfortunately, become too, what's the word? Like in the hands of a few. So what you're saying sounds a lot more like, yes, like that's the future we want. Let's distribute the wealth more so that
Yes.
more average day people can
Yes.
now become millionaires through AI as opposed to just these tech companies, having like all the power.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the
Just
Yeah.
approach.
imagine before, for those folks who remember this, in the 1990s, when you need to research something, you have your Britannica encyclopedia with 24 books, right? Someone knocks the door and sells that. I don't know if you guys remember that,
I
but I
do.
do. I have my own, right? So now you can have the entire library of the world in your computer just for a few clicks, for a few typing in, right? what I do, and this is what I do before going to bed, I reflect, right? I meditate, obviously, but I'm also in my computer and typing in my let's say in ChatGPT. I type in, did I make these are the top decisions I made today. What do you think? Did I make a mistake? Could I do better? Right? It's like a buddy of mine that I talk to because the more I talk to them, and this is a paid version, right? Because they can, do a lot of things, but they actually tell me, it's like someone that's really, really important that they know you and they can critique using the world library, using so much experience in the tip of your fingers. How great is that to have that, right? So I think you'll be able to be very successful any business that you're in as long as you're open mind and as long as you use this leverage, it will help you make better decisions. And I think better decisions is one thing that the AI can really help you. Aside from automation and all those stuff, right? You can make better decisions. And you can apply that anywhere in anything. Better decisions as a parent, better decisions as a husband, as a wife, better decisions as a son or a daughter, better decisions as a friend, better decisions as a colleague. You can make better decisions.
One of the first things now that you're talking about the decisions, why people hopped on ChatGPT so quickly for the number one use was mental health. And I still believe that's true. I don't think it's now the number one reason anymore because, again, we're moving so quickly. But imagine millions of people talking about depression. Why do I feel this way? Just trying to figure out what's wrong. And they have somebody to talk to. Like you said, that's how you learn and you lean into it. I think that's a great thing. I think people like we've got Amanda DaCosta here with a resilience business of coaching for resilience of how to overcome and get through things like this. I think that AI can amplify what she already does and in such a fabulous way. So I think just is it's we're in a great time to be here in this space, and I think that again, getting in is just getting started. That's all it is, getting started. You've got two great assets and resources here. Yes, they're in the tribe. Yes, you're going to get their contact information. There are some dangers of people using it, of course, incorrectly. 100%. We've seen that with teenagers and some other things. It's not regulated how we probably, need it to be exactly. But yeah, so you're getting cool presentation. Thank you from Bonnie. Guys, any more questions, you can throw them in. You're going to get to reach out to them afterwards. Vicky, you were going to say one more thing to wrap it
Just
up?
that, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit on Amanda's note too, and like AI is a support. And
Yes.
so it's a place to start. You can ask a couple questions, you can get some clarity on your own thought processes, and then you share it. And then you share like, oh my gosh, I've sent screenshots of what Claude shared with me. I just couldn't believe it. And so I shared it with people and I was like, what do you think of this? Do you agree with what it said? Like, what are your thoughts? But I have something other than just my half-baked trying to figure out what I'm actually experiencing. And so it can also be a conversation starter. And so you can take it to a coaching session and be like, okay, I shared this particular thing and it actually helped me think through it better. Maybe I don't agree with what its outcome is, or this is where I want to get some clarity with an actual coach or therapist, but it's helped me think through my ideas. And so it's not about necessarily taking that advice and running with it, but just sitting with it and seeing like, okay, how does this actually help me think better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good. All right, Aries, do you have one more thing you want to leave it up there? Oh yeah, you put the Coffee Connect button 100%. But one last thought for everybody on AI as we wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you. By this year, the most valuable companies won't be the ones with the smartest people.
Mm,
They'll be the ones with the best systems.
yes, I agree.
And AI can build those systems for you.
Yes,
So, yeah.
100%. Okay. Excellent job. Thank you so much. Show them some love. That's fabulous. We're going to stop this recording. We're going to get it converted and send it out to all of our attendees. Yeah, great, great job, guys. Thank you so much for being experts. And Yeah, we'll see you again. I'm sure
On
actually we'll do
Friday.
this again. Yeah, Friday. The Ask the Experts. Yes. Well, thank you so much, guys. Have a great
Okay,
rest of your
bye.
day. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.